Hello everyone, this is Yemnike here reaching out to you. Today we'll be talking about financial stability in the home. Basically, we'll be discussing how to handle money in marriage. Money, if not well handled, we all know can be a clog in the wheels of progress. If you are interested in knowing more on this, keep watching. If you are not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button so you can know when I post new videos. Here with me today is someone very dear to my heart, my one and only OJ, who is very knowledgeable on the topic of finances. My dear, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, sweetheart. You know, I'm passionate when it comes to talking about, finances and marriage. So when you combine the both of them together, you definitely got me pumped up to talk about this today. So today I just want to, talk about this in two parts. So let's focus today on what those issues are that, money related and is troubling marriages. And then next week, we'll talk about what we can do about those issues, either to prevent them or to solve those problems that, marriages are already facing when it comes to money. Let me start with this piece of information that you might find interesting. According to recent data, about a third of marriages fail because of money-related issues. That's a lot of marriages that are failing because of money, which should not be so. So let's talk about what those 10 key issues are. Issue number 1, splitting bills instead of pooling resources together. Now, one of the powerful things about marriage is when two people come together, they pool their resources, they can get a lot more bargaining power. But how some couples choose to manage money is that one a spouse is responsible for paying certain bills, and then another spouse is responsible for paying some other bills, where the husband, for instance, is responsible for paying the rent and the wife is responsible for paying the kids' school fees. Now that sounds really reasonable until there's a bone of contention. And how that happens is maybe the wife finishes paying the school fees and now she has some money left, and then she begins to use it for whatever she chooses to use it for. She's buying these designer bags, nice shoes, or maybe even investing in some real property for herself. And then the husband finds out and begins to feel cheated. Now that's a potential issue. Issue number 2, excessive debt. Now the higher the amount of debt a couple seem to have, the more heavily weighted they are towards being stressed. So the marriage becomes stressful when they're in debt, when a lot of their income goes towards servicing debt all the time. Issue number 3 is lifestyle differences. In general, there are savers and there are spenders. Now, when a saver, that's someone who saves a lot, gets married to someone who spends a lot, if they're not careful, they are going to consistently butt heads over how to use their money. One person wants them to save and invest, buy property, buy things that will yield more profit, and then the other person feels like we're earning money so that we can be able to spend it and live a better life. Issue number 4, personality differences. Closely related to number 3 here is that one spouse may be so detailed that they care about every number, every penny. They want to be accountable for every amount that they're spending, while the other person is a little bit more carefree, a little bit more loose, and just freestyle lifestyle. Now, if they're not careful and they don't get on the same page, they're going to have issues down the road. Issue number 5 is income earning differences. In general, there's hardly any couple where one spouse is not earning more than the other. Now, there's no problem with that, but when the spouse that is earning more begins to try to wield their power over the other spouse that is earning less, that becomes a trouble point as well. Issue number 6, managing children and dependents. According to a recent report, it costs about $234,000 to raise a child from the time they were born to the age of 18. So that makes a lot of people think. Some couples, one spouse is thinking, I don't want to have more than one child because that's all I can afford. And then the other person is saying, but I want 4 kids. It's always been my life's dream. And then they begin to butt heads over this kind of issues. Issue number 7 is extended family and friends needs. In some cases where maybe a friend or a sibling comes to you and says, I need help, I need financial help. And then you speak with your spouse and your spouse says, I disagree, I don't feel like we should help this person or help your sibling. And then it creates, a trouble point. And you begin to disagree, and then that, just spirals down into where you don't want it to go. Issue number 8 is religious and cultural differences. In some cases, some couples are not on the same page when it comes to their culture or their faith. Maybe, for example, one spouse wants to give their tithe and their offerings, and then the other person really doesn't see a need to do that or to do as much as his spouse wants to do. Or one spouse thinks that it's their responsibility to take care of their aging parents, and then the other spouse thinks that your parents should be happy that we're doing well in life. There's no need to take care of them financially. That becomes a trouble point as well. Issue number 9 is financial infidelity. Yes, the word infidelity, it doesn't always involve having an affair, but it could be when someone has been unfaithful with their shared financial goals by, for instance, opening a side account or a side credit card or keeping money away secretly. You can see how this could make the other person feel cheated when they find out that, the other person has this secret stash somewhere, and then it affects their relationship. Now, issue number 10 is unmet expectations. Unmet expectations. Prior to marriage, one spouse may share a grandiose vision of what he or she believes that their lives would look like in the next 3 to 5 years. And then the other spouse, gets interested and buys into that vision. But unfortunately, 5 years into the marriage, none of those things have come to pass. In fact, their financial situation may actually be worse than when they first started, and it creates some fatigue and stress in the relationship, and it becomes a bone of contention. It becomes a very serious problem that the couple will have to deal with. So in general, these are the 10 key issues that many marriages face. Next week, we'll talk more about what we can do to avoid them or correct them if they're already happening. So thanks for listening, and I hope that you join us next time.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, dear, for the insight on this topic, and thank you all for listening. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Join us next week for solutions to these financial situations on the home. And on this note, we are saying bye for now and see you next week.